What if the next time you went to buy a gaming console, or even a new phone, it just wasn't there? Not because it's sold out, but because the very parts inside have been gobbled up by this insatiable hunger for AI. A trend so powerful it could actually bankrupt the hardware companies you know and love.
So, what is going on? Well, we've dug through over 2,000 news sources from just the last 24 hours to connect the dots. We're about to break down a $100 billion AI power play, a huge regulatory showdown, a hardware crisis that could literally empty store shelves, and what it all means for the world you and I are going to be living in tomorrow.
First, we're going to hit the top headlines in our rapid-fire bulletin. After that, we'll dive deep into the 4 critical acts of this whole story. All right, let's jump in. First up, the bulletin. 10 big stories, 60 seconds. Here's what you need to know right now. 1. India's Adani Group is throwing down a staggering $100 billion to build out the country's AI data centers by 2035. 2. Tech giant Infosys and AI leader Anthropic are partnering up. Their goal? To build AI agents that can work inside heavily regulated industries like finance. 3. The gloves are officially off in Europe. Regulators are launching a massive investigation into Elon Musk's X platform and its Grok AI because of the spread of non-consensual, sexualized deepfakes. 4. Go ahead and circle March 4th on your calendar. Apple is getting ready for a big event, and the rumor mill is buzzing about new AI-powered wearables, maybe even smart glasses.
5. Trying to buy Steam Deck?
Yeah, good luck. Valve just confirmed major shortages, and they're pointing the finger squarely at the AI industry for buying up all the memory chips. 6. The AI talent war is heating up. OpenAI just snatched up the creator of the popular OpenClaw AI agent tool, a big move.
7. Meta and Nvidia are doubling down. They're expanding their huge partnership to build out the kind of massive AI infrastructure that future models are going to need.
8. Samsung's new Galaxy S26 Ultra has a pretty cool AI-powered privacy screen, but let's just say the ads for it are getting a, mixed reaction. 9. And another big move out of Europe. The EU Parliament is banning AI tools on all official devices. They're citing major concerns about security and potential data leaks. And 10, Wall Street is starting to get a little nervous. People are worried about the absolutely astronomical costs of this AI boom, and it's starting to rattle tech stocks. Okay, so let's start connecting these dots. This all brings us to Act 1, the big shift. You see, we're way past AI being some cool science project. We are literally watching it become the foundation of our entire global infrastructure, and it's happening right now. A number like $100 billion, that isn't just about business. That's a geopolitical statement. Adani Group's massive bet is basically India planting a flag in the ground, declaring that it plans to be a global AI superpower. They're not just building data centers, they're building the actual rails the future is going to run on. And this new infrastructure isn't just sitting there empty. This partnership between Infosys and Anthropic, it's the perfect example of how AI is growing up. We're moving beyond simple chatbots and into a world with really sophisticated AI agents. You know, ones designed to operate in the high-stakes, rule-heavy worlds of finance and manufacturing. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that the fun and games experimental era of AI, well, that's officially over. The global race is on to build, to own, and to deploy the core economic engine that's going to define the next decade. And whenever you have a shift this huge, you know exactly what comes next. That leads us to Act 2, the power battle. Because with this much power, a huge struggle for control is absolutely inevitable. And we're seeing it play out all over the world. This, right here, is the new frontline. The EU's investigation into X and Grok, it's not really just about one platform. It's about drawing a hard line in the sand. It's an attempt to finally get some control over AI's power to create these convincing and incredibly harmful deepfakes. This is that moment where all the abstract fears become very, very real. And as you can see, there is absolutely no global agreement on how to handle any of this. We're seeing a total fracture in how countries are approaching it. You've got the European Union over here, focused on safety and tight rules. Then you have India trying to use AI for the public good, but also wrestling with content controls. And in the US, it's this constant tightrope walk between cheering on innovation and trying to calm down a really jumpy market. So what's the bottom line? The Wild West phase of AI, that open, experimental, do-whatever-you-want phase, is ending. It's being replaced by a world of digital borders, conflicting laws, and a whole lot of government scrutiny.
Which brings us to Act 3, the market and the money. Because this whole virtual AI boom is creating a very real, very physical crisis. Let's call it the Great Hardware Squeeze.
And listen, that quote, that is not some wild exaggeration. It's a direct warning from the CEO of Phison, a company right at the heart of the memory chip world. The insane demand from AI data centers is creating a structural shortage of the most basic building blocks for, well, pretty much everything with a screen. Make no mistake, this is a zero-sum game. Every single memory chip that goes into an AI server is one that is not going into a Steam Deck or a new phone or even your car. And that forces us to ask a pretty brutal question. Is your next gaming console worth less to the global market than a tiny piece of an AI data center? Right now, the market's answer is a loud and clear yes. And this isn't just some boring supply chain problem you can ignore. This collision is creating a brand new economic reality of scarcity and rising prices. It's going to directly impact what tech you can actually buy and how much you're going to have to pay for it.
So where does all of this lead? Well, that brings us to our final act. What happens next? The data is already starting to show us the very real consequences of all these trends speeding up. In the short term, you should probably get ready for more hardware shortages and, yep, higher prices. For you and me, that just means frustration. But for AI startups, it's a fire hose of new funding. Now, if we look out a bit further, those regulatory fights we're seeing today are going to become ironclad laws. And that means social media platforms and tech giants are going to have to pay a much, much higher price just to stay in business.
And this really is the great paradox of this AI boom. On the one hand, we're on the verge of getting incredible things, like AI-powered glasses from Apple and tools that are smarter than anything we've ever seen. But on the other hand, the road to get there is an absolute minefield of hardware shortages, regulatory wars, and brand new security threats. Which leaves us all with one really critical question. Can we manage the fallout from this revolution before it starts to manage us? To keep up with this story as it develops, make sure you visit newsbite.tech for more tech news and bites.